Carla came to me one day saying she was maybe a new Christian, you would say, new believer, and looking for a spot in her church where she could really get connected with other girls her age, and maybe a weekly thing where she could, study the Bible. And she was having a hard time at church finding what exactly just fit for her. So she was talking about it with me one day, and I said, right now you probably best connect with other female athletes. And I said, if you want to try to reach out on campus to other girls all the sports, I'd be happy to help you get something started, maybe for a semester, lead you guys through something, and then you can take over when you're comfortable. So that was probably in August when that came about, and she got right to it. She spread the word. It was all Carla doing the legwork to get other girls involved, and we opened up the tennis locker room Wednesday nights. Weren't sure who would come, if anybody, if the fact that I was a coach would keep people away.
I didn't really have high expectations for it because I didn't know the coach, I didn't know Shelley, and I didn't know Carla. And so I was just kind of going in, I guess kind of open-minded. And then I find out that it's for other athletes too, just girl athletes. So I'm like, okay, so we all have something in common.
More than one showed up that night, and it continued to grow every week.
Yeah.
Every week, the teammates, they would bring new teammates, they would bring new girls. And you could see the wall slowly came down each week as they realized I was there for them, I wasn't a coach in that moment. On Wednesday nights, I wasn't a coach. I was just someone there, for them to help them, through this study.
It was just an idea brought up by the girls if we could go on a mission trip. At first it was an idea in the air, but as weeks started going by, we made it happen, and we started planning, and we
all sent out letters to family members. So I sent a few letters just asking for fundraising so I could go overseas and help the people in the Dominican.
At the very last minute, we didn't think we were going to have enough money, and then we ended up having more than we thought we would, and more people got to go, so it was really a blessing.
The first place we went to, we drove up to the sugarcane village in our bus, and we just heard, screaming, and I was kind of thrown off. I was like, what is going on? And it sounded like screaming of hundreds and hundreds of kids.
Kind of thought the bus was breaking down. We pulled up to this village. We didn't know what we were passing, but we were passing the school. And
through the bus with closed windows, closed doors, through a school, you could hear just their excitement that, oh my gosh, these people are here. And they know they're probably Americans. The Americans are here, to spend time with us.
We found out later that they hadn't seen anybody in a month.
The girls came to us that night saying, can we go back there tomorrow? We really want to go back. We really want to go back. And it wasn't on the schedule to go back, but SCORE so graciously, let us, and then we were able to just shower them with material blessings. So it was really neat for the first day just to go and just to love on these people, and it wasn't about what we were giving them. It was just about us being there, and then showing up the next day with hey, now we're here to to really try to bless you, and in return, obviously they blessed us, and we learned a lot. I love this picture of Taylor because I think it just represents the pure love and fun that we got to have with these kids. You can see in the background there's not a lot there. I think you can see that every girl has one or two people that they just really connected with everywhere we went.
one of the girls that at the old girls home, we started drawing on the concrete on the ground, and so I asked her, what's your favorite color? She'll write it down, and then I write down my favorite color. I was like, oh, what's your favorite animal? And then I put down my favorite animal, and then I was like, so write down your birthday. I wrote down my birthday, and she was just looking at me, and I was like, do you know your birthday? And she's like, and that kind of struck me. I was like, she doesn't know her birthday. So I told her, you know what, you got a new birthday, you can share with me a birthday. And they put a smile on her face.
We were in this one village, and we were giving new shoes to everyone, all the kids. And I was holding this little girl the whole time, and then she was sleeping, and then I woke her up. I was like, hey, get your stuff, you get new shoes and school supply, whatever. And I gave her these shoes, and I thought they were too small or too big, I don't remember. But she went to her mom, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get another pair of shoes and see if she wants to change or whatnot. And I walked to her mom, and I was like, hey, you want these? I don't know if those are too big or too small or whatever. She's like, she's like, no, these that I have are fine. I was like, okay, well, keep these as well. You know, you can just keep both. And she's like, no, we all are getting one, so one is fine. And that just, it hit me.
I had another girl that I was especially close with. She kept coming to me, and I was trying to go play with all the kids equally. But I grew especially fond of, like, you know, I had a really special relationship with her because we'd gone there again. And she had no shoes. Skin, like, because the sun's so hot there, it'll get, you know, because it's very sensitive, her skin. And so I looked in my bag, and I realized I had sunscreen, I had lotions, and we're not supposed to give things, but I was in the spirit of the moment. Because I went in her house, and then I gave all the things in my backpack, and I took everything. I gave it to her. I gave her pens. I gave her just everything in my bag. I just took it and gave it to her. Shh, don't tell anyone, okay? And she's like, okay.
They smile so happy, so big that it's just like, it's like they have everything in the world. Because honestly, the saying is, if you have nothing but you have Jesus, then you have everything you need. And so that's honestly, I think, what they live by. Like, once they capture the love of Jesus and the hope and the faith that he has, I mean, there's no turning back.
There was one boy from the village, from the sugarcane village. His name was Wilson, and I think he was 9 years old. He was the one who really stuck out to me. Like, I mean, I didn't know what he was saying half the time. He was pointing, trying to help me figure out everything.
I can remember if it was Saturday night or Sunday night, we were just having time, and I was talking to them, and I was like, look guys, I'm here, and I'm here to help. I'm here to translate, but don't use me, you know, like you gotta let the Holy Spirit, and it's part of, you know, people always say, like, when you go, like, the language is a barrier, and it is as much as you want it to make it, you know. If you want to think it is, then it will be, you know, and that's when we kind of challenge the girls, and we're like, look, like, let the Holy Spirit lead you, you know, and it's just let it happen, let it flow, and I was amazed. The girls did, you know, and I was like, anyone needs me, you know, like, can I help anyone? Because they really, and you could see, you know, from the outside, I would just sit down and watch them go, and it was like they were communicating.
It was cool to see how God's love, like, he found a way for us to communicate. I didn't know what he was saying, he didn't know what I was saying, and sometimes we'd just stop and look at each other and laugh because we were trying to figure everything out, and it was just crazy because, like, we didn't know, but it worked.
I think one of the biggest things that our girls learned from not using Carla as a translator is that love is a universal language. And that's what we really tried to hit home when we got down there, is that we're here to love these people, and it doesn't matter what language you speak.
It's a reward just after you've done the mission trip. And just like they told me, no expectations, go with a willing heart.
By you blessing others, God blesses you by changing you and by, you know, doing work, real work in your heart.
Brought to my attention what I don't need and how much we have and how thankful, like, I need to be as compared to how much I took for granted. It's so crazy just to look back on and think where I was before, how I'm feeling now, how I was feeling during the trip, and how far I've grown in just 2 months already.
If I'm blessed, then I should be able to share that blessing with others and bring them to an opportunity that they'll never even dream of having.